Hey everybody, it's Michelle Lightworker here, and I'm coming at you live from Sydney, and I have the beautiful Annalise Campbell joining me for our first episode of Season 3 of Enlightened Conversations, and I am going to basically fill you in a little bit on the beautiful Annalise Campbell and what she's about, and then we will see her jumping in on the conversation with me very, very soon. So let me tell you a little bit about Annalise. Annalise Campbell is the founder of Awaken and Transform. And she has the foundations as a transformational therapist, a sound adventurist, I like the sound of that, a Reiki Master and Metaphysician. Hey, Raoul. Great to see you. Annalise has a heart-exploding passion to spread the words of truth as far and wide as possible about how our forgotten heritage as divine sparks of perfection are and how we need to harness that knowledge and energy and truth. Annalise is joining me on Enlightened Conversations because I really am intrigued by her. I would like to learn more about her. I would like to learn more about her message, and I would also like to learn more about how, as she puts it, we operate as fractals of the grand plan. So I'm really delighted to have her joining me today, and I am definitely looking forward to her jumping on and seeing where is she? Where are you, Annalise, darling? Let me have a look. Where are you, darling? Raoul, I could invite you into the conversation, but I can't see that Annalise is watching. Hopefully I have. I've started the live stream on the Enlightened Conversations public page, like I said I would. Raoul, have I started it on the right page? Tell me I've started it on the right page. Oh, there she is. Oh, my goodness. There you are. Hello, darling. I'm going to invite you in, honey. Here I am. There she is. Hello, beautiful. Bringing you on camera, darling. I've reverted to my little drum roll, drum roll.
Woo!
Apparently. Here she comes.
We made it. Awesome.
Yay! Hello. How are you, sweetheart?
Hi. Well, I'm really fabulous. I'm glad
Lovely.
we were able to do this.
Me too. I'm really super excited about your journey, your passion actually. I was reading your bio and I could feel it. It's palpable, your passion. It's fabulous. Yeah. I think we share that together. We share that intention for the human race to realize who they really are, that real stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm excited to have you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it. And also please say what you're going to say.
Oh, well, I just want to say where my passion really comes from is from true grit and true experience of experiencing absolute horrors and then finding my way to transforming my life into a beautiful place. So I do have a real passion to help people now that I've been there, done that.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I mean, for some people that know my journey, they'll know that, I struggled with an eating disorder when I was in my 20s, and I found my way to enlightenment and to helping others to realize they're on the path to enlightenment. Whether they feel enlightened or not doesn't really matter, but because we're all on that journey, and I think sometimes when people are watching what we're doing and they see what we're doing, they think that perhaps we've had it easy because we're doing the work we're doing. And I often find that the opposite is true, is that we've actually had a bit of a rough trot, and we've because we've been faced with that, we've learned how to navigate that and to connect with our
with who we really are because of that, not you know, because we just popped out of the womb going, I'm enlightened and I know who I am.
Yeah. No, I get it. Quite a few people actually coming along looking at me saying, who do you think you are to teach me, when really they just don't understand that journey that I've been through. So we've definitely got to go to the depths of despair to really appreciate that love and light that we are, and to understand the whole journey. Something that is important to me to teach people right now, that it is about the whole journey. It's about the journey, not the destination. Once we reach that destination, it's all over. The journey is the fun part.
Yeah, well, I guess from my point of view, I mean, before I met my husband, I was talking to a girlfriend, and we've been married now. We've been together for like 11 years. This is our 11th year, and happily, not like a struggle relationship. And I remember saying to her, like, just before I met him, I want easy. Like, I want an easy relationship. Like, I've done hard. And so for me, coming to a place of worthiness around knowing that I deserved easy and nothing less than how I really created my reality for myself. I think that was a very powerful moment for me, because up to that point in time I had struggled, and yes, it had been, like, if you like, part of the journey, but for me the real journey began when I hit peace and easy and love and joy in the now, every day. It really, like, I really, like, you know, I can look back at it and I can reflect on it with you and say it was like all the hard stuff wasn't a waste, because we know where we are now, right? But at the same time, you know, some people think it's boring, you know, no drama or no challenge, or I'd just be bored, you know. That is so far away from the reality of actually how you actually feel when you're in that space. You feel so full and so creative and so ridiculously connected to everyone and everything. It's anything but boring.
Yeah, but I do like to just let people know that there is purpose for everything. So there's just purpose, and everyone's got their own journey. When you see people really struggling, understanding that there's a purpose for that, for their soul's chosen that. And for us now reaching this place, it all has purpose to teach us at a deep soul level. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything counts, everything matters. And so tell me more about how it all, you know, in your wise words, fractals of the grand plan.
Right.
Love that.
But what happened was, one night I went to bed and I asked Spirit, I said, I want to know the truth. And for 3 days I was downloaded with just such advanced concepts of occult knowledge that like, people were coming to my workshops at night and I was just frazzled. I could barely run a workshop because of this coming through. And eventually I was able to piece all the pieces together. And what happened was, they offered me a really beautiful way of viewing the universe. So what they showed me, right from the moment there was the Big Bang of our universe and it exploded, and they showed me how all the dimensions were created all at once. And about so what they shared with me was that the universe is the God. That's the macrocosm of where you get that saying of everything is God. So the whole universe is God. And then what they showed me next was how everything fractals down. So we are micro versions of the macrocosm, which means that we ourselves are God. And then it was really, really complex. So it's quite difficult to narrow it down into the short talk. But so next they showed me... the next they showed me was the different dimensions and how that works. So if you could imagine from that one Big Bang, that the first explosion that went out was pure source consciousness. And then for my linear mind, they showed me it happening in different layers, as if it was echoing out, creating these different dimensions from source and then echoing out further and further. And the further that away that got from source, the denser it became, because the closer you get to source, the higher the vibrations. So it went something like light, sound, geometric forms, all of these different dimensions, till it eventually reached us at form. But what that allowed me to see is that we are everything that we are is God. It's not... I felt like for a long time in my journey I was trying to get somewhere, that I was trying to reach this place outside of myself. And then I come to realize that actually everything is within me. The whole universe is within me. and that whole journey is done within me. And then the next aspect to that they showed me was the hero's journey of how we come from source, we come to earth, and what happens is that our soul dies on the cross. And they showed me the cross being the heart, and you've got the 3 chakras below and the 3 chakras above, and our soul came down, died at the cross, and become unconscious of itself. And which means that right now most people are God, but they're just unconscious of the fact that they are God. And that the whole journey of us rediscovering ourselves is to rise back up and to ascend through ourselves, finding our Christed consciousness, awakening to the God within, and becoming self-realized as the wholeness of our being. But it's so much more complex than that. That's just like the shortest that I can kind of make that for you today of that theory. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And totally does. Yeah, it totally does, I think. Because it's sort of like, almost like going to sleep. Like, you know, at night time, we all go to sleep. And it's almost like a death because, like, we're gone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
we forget.
Like, that just happened every night. Like, every night we do that, right? But it's true. We kind of have a mini death every night. We go to sleep, forget who we are because we're asleep. We wake up in the morning, we remember who we are. And it's kind of like that, but on an initiation level and on a more conscious level. Yeah. But it's kind of interesting, that whole journey, isn't it, to enlightenment, because we don't realize we're on the journey to enlightenment. That's part of the journey. We don't realize we've forgotten. We don't just realize, do we, that we've forgotten ourselves. Yeah. And that's where I'm really passionate. I think, you know, and I think we both share that view. That's what excites me about talking to you. Because when more of us wake up to that, we start to see each other, all of us, as not bad people doing bad things, but we more step out
just
of that
unconscious
whole paradigm. That whole paradigm just goes, instead of, you know, tuning onto the news, right? And especially this is helpful for empaths, because, you know, empaths will tune onto the news and they will immediately kind of recoil in horror, because they're immediately taking on the energies perhaps of the, you know, not only people in trauma, but also perhaps the people that are doing the trauma, and they start to take on the energy of all that. And I think that layer of what I would call an invitation to learn more about stepping into compassion. Empaths can step more into compassion for people's unconsciousness rather than judge them.
That's
for
exactly
their
what it is.
But that is here, right? That is definitely here, because that's heart chakra consciousness. And I think that there are some people that have realized their sensitive empath abilities and also made that jump and able to do that, not only for human beings, but I mean for unconscious beings, so the you know, the whole planet really. So that includes metaphysical beings that are working to increase unconsciousness because that's their job for whatever reason, an entity, or
that's all it is,
you know,
as well, is that we're just trying to increase that consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I share with you the next key to that? So that's like, kind of like the grand plan of how everything is. And then what they shared with me was the levels of consciousness, like that you're talking about, that people are at. And they showed that to me through the chakra system, that there's the different, because we're fractals of the universe, that you can actually find all the dimensions within yourself. So within each chakra, you've got each dimension. And most people are still living from that solar plexus, the third dimension, which is just I am, completely self-absorbed, which is still cut off from source. And what they've shared with me is that right now people are making the shift from 3D to 5D consciousness, and 5D is found up in the throat. And in order to do that, you're having to pass through the heart. And if you could imagine these 3 lower chakras being dark, being the yang energy of the unconscious mind, and then these 3 higher chakras being that yin energy of the consciousness of God, what's happening at the heart is there's a big battle that happens as these 2 energies clash. And your ego is like, I don't want to wake up, because in order to wake up, you're going to have to, all the pain stored in that heart, all your belief structures, all of your past hurts from family, friends. It's the collective consciousness of pain for me. Like, I spent a lot of my time teaching people to get into their hearts. And then after this experience, it was like, no, we actually need to transcend that heart in order to reach that, the ascended heart, which is, and then once you get to that fifth dimension, you're fine. You can see things from a clear perspective of no fear. Yeah, so that's what they kind of showed me, is that the light comes down and shines a light on all our darkness, and the ego doesn't want to. So there's a big battle that happens here for people. And that's what we're going through right now collectively, shifting through that.
Yeah. Thank you, because I'll just give you a little insight into what I learned about the chakras when I was channeling level 6 of the Lightworker practitioner training. I had no idea. I just had no idea what I was going to encounter when I was doing that. And what I was shown was that every single chakra is a universe to itself.
Yeah.
And we have these portals.
Yeah.
We have these portals to these universes, and they each have, you're right, like a level of consciousness. But not only that, but they actually, it's like they're intelligent, but it's our job to help to lock into them, like to be willing to plug into what's already there, right? To unlock the consciousness that is really powerful, like amazing power in each and every one of them. Incredible. But in order to get to that, we have to clear away some stuff to get to them. So that's often what people are afraid of, right? Like, I don't want to have to deal. But it is actually if you like, pot at the end of the rainbow, the treasure at the end of the rainbow. Anyway, that's number one. Number two is that, and this was really, I mean, it sounds so obvious now, and people going, yeah, what is, which I'm fine with, guys. If you know this, I honor you. I am so happy if you know this. Fabulous. Yes, please shout it from the rooftops with everybody. But the other thing that was absolutely amazing that I learned was that they actually want to communicate and with each other. So there are these, So like great example with what you were just describing around the heart, right? When I had people, and we used to, like, we've done lots of different ways you can do this, right? But we had actually, like, this is kind of cute. We had like pillows on the floor in different colors of the chakras. And so what would happen is we'd have like a voice dialogue session. So people would actually step into, say, their heart chakra, and the heart chakra would be checking, like doing an assessment of all the other chakras and how connected it was, and how each of the other chakras, because its whole role was around connection, that was its like consciousness, right? Unity consciousness. And it was like checking in with, okay, how is the base chakra, for instance, like you were talking about safety and security, how safe do I feel in connecting with other people? And and so it was like, having this real insight. It blew my mind as to how much insight came from that simple session of doing an assessment. We did it for 8 weeks on one chakra a week. So we did
we're doing that right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
7-week series. We're starting this way though.
Chakras too. We did the ear chakras too, because I'm highly clairaudient, so I couldn't lead the ear chakras out. I like the ear chakras. I found people were getting so much information about, like, listening to their chakras from having the ear chakra involved with connecting and doing an assessment of all the other chakras and how they were operating.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
definitely. There's just so much to learn. Like, I'm only just beginning my journey, and they've given me this beautiful gift of understanding, and it's offered me compassion. Now, when I see people that are at a lower consciousness, and it's not that that's their journey, and when I see them there, I understand that that's their journey, and they're just on. And I love to call it the hero's journey, because when we return, we're like heroes, because we've been to the ultimate. As far away from source as we can possibly go, into the unconscious realm. And on our way back, it's like this big glorious celebration, and spirit is there on that other side of the veil, just she finally figured it out.
I love it. I love it. I was just getting it, like, as you were talking, I was just getting a little download about how, some people, there's this sort of flip side of stepping into spirituality where, when you become conscious, you're like, so I know this happened for me. It was so bad. I remember even going, stop. But when I started to become more conscious, I would start to judge people for being unconscious, and I'd be like, I couldn't stop. I was like, oh, you're so unconscious, and I'd be doing this sort of like
really?
la 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 around how unconscious people were, and I'd be like,
okay. No, I've never done that because I used to be that bad. Can't judge them because I was worse.
Okay. I was just like, this is like in my 20s. I'm like going, stop, Michelle, stop. And I couldn't stop because I was just so conscious of all the things that weren't conscious. But what I have found is that we overcome that when we step from crown chakra consciousness, which can be quite corrupted with ego and what is it, like that word, spiritual elitism, almost like spiritual arrogance and I'm brown nosing spiritually, I'm more spiritual than you, you're not spiritual enough, that kind of stuff.
It's funny.
No one's saying it, right? But it's like it's still happening. Like people will do that in the spiritual community because they think their way's the highway, or or they let more than you, or it's really quite infantile. It's not connected to real truth of being our perfect selves, divine sparks as you describe it. But the other thing is that we can fall into the trap of caretaking, because we think, oh, you need to be rescued, you're not conscious enough, you need to be rescued, let me come in and grab you and pull you. And I think that's very unconscious as well, because again, everybody is on their perfect journey, right?
Yeah, I think my epiphany really helped me with that, showing that we are all one. So I can't be any better than anyone else. But what I tell people is like, yes, I am amazing, but so are you. So it's like you have to have that really high confidence and feel really great about yourself, which isn't coming from the ego. For me, the only time it's from the ego is if I'm better than you. And it's never like that. Yeah. It's like, I'm awesome. But, you're so awesome in your own way too. And I've got all these groups of ladies coming to see me. And I love that I can sit there and see a gift in each and every one of them, because their own vibration and reflection of God that they shine back at me is just perfect and so full of whatever they've got that I don't have, which doesn't make anyone any better. And me being in that state of mind now means that I receive a gift in every encounter that I encounter with people. I'm getting their gift instead of judging or feeling bad about myself. It's like, you have a gift of God to, offer me. I can find God through you, and that love of spirit through you as you offer me your attention and your divine insight into your perception. What a gift. And even with my children. Yeah.
I love that. That's really awesome. It does create an openness, doesn't it? And a invitation for us to go, oh, what am I meant to learn from this person? Because
definitely.
If we are all fractals of source, which I believe we are too, and Annalise totally do. I feel like then the opportunity is there whenever we have an interaction with someone to be open to what amount of their source energy is flowing through them that needs to come to us, and what amount of our source energy is flowing to them that needs to come to them in terms of the, I guess you could say, the lesson or education or whatever it is.
Just experience.
Just trusting it. Just trusting this. And that's what I love that. And that's, I think it's a cool way to work too. I love working like that. I like, people come to me and they say, oh, I want you to, I'd be interested to, for you to produce a show or what have you. What do you need? And I'll be, honestly, this is how I am. I'm like, okay, let's see. What does spirit want here, and what is it trying to be born? This is where my head is. It's not like, what do we need? It's like, actually, what needs to be birthed? What is coming through
expressed.
You? Are you feeling cold? Are you feeling cold right now? To speak about something. Are you passionate about something? It's more about that openness of working. It really does relate to you're getting the best, really, I think, out of everyone.
Can I share something on that note? I've just read an amazing book, and I've learned a beautiful gift that's going to stay with me forever. And what it was is that it shared that all disease comes from the soul wishing to express itself, but the ego getting in the way. So now I'm going to start working with people, asking, what is it? If there was no fear there, because the ego was the fear, if there was no fear there, what is it that you would like to experience or express? Or even me doing this with you right now, is my soul is wanting to express that. If my ego got in the way, I would have said, no, I can't do it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
all
yeah,
disease in your body comes because source light is wanting to show something out to the world and you're holding back. What do you
yeah.
think about
Oh,
that?
I love that. I do love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? You know how we were just talking before about the chakras and how they communicate to all the other
Yeah.
chakras and things like that? So then for me, the first thing I'm getting is expression comes from your throat chakra. It's the ability to want to express. And so it would be
Yeah.
around the throat chakra energy. Something's disrupting it. So therefore
Can I share
there's
something with that when you're
like a
done?
flow.
So
Yeah,
out of that
sure.
book I was just reading is that from the throat chakra, it's actually connected to the sacral chakra. So if the flows are disrupted, it's because there's creative energy there, and then it comes through out of the throat. So it can either be the
Yeah.
throat or the sacral. I felt, oh, this book is so amazing. Just learning, it's
Amazing.
called
Yeah.
occult healing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. I love that.
But if
Yeah,
you
that
could
makes a lot of
imagine,
sense, doesn't it?
there's a light right in the center of each chakra. So each of your chakras is
Yeah.
expressing something, not just the throat. Each of those chakras is wanting to express something, and
Everyone.
then there's a blockage there.
Totally.
That's just our fear
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
hurt or pain or something of the ego that's preventing you from living in your truth.
Yeah. I love that. You know, and I guess, yeah, I mean, I have layers of ego that comes up, and you know, like for instance, I don't know, I think I've been a pretty organized person in my life, you know, like to be, had to be sort of to be, feel safe, and that is how I managed my fear. So I would be very, very proactive in planning everything down to the last little detail, you know. And so kind of like this is the epitome of me letting go. Like I'm sitting, you know, on the floor, you know, here,
Me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
sitting on the floor in my mum's house in Sydney because I've had to come down here to tend to business to help her and things. And you know, I didn't know. I just bought a $10 mobile phone kind of car thing that I've stuck on the table that you can probably see, like you can probably see like there.
Yeah.
You know, I bought that like an hour and a
Very
half ago.
informal.
I really trusted Spirit to just guide me and say, well, you know, what am I meant to do? How am I meant to do this? I mean, I even bought, here's another practical example. I even bought some Verve, because these ones, this particular ear thing isn't
Yeah.
working, and I bought these and they didn't work, and you know, and I just went, you know what, I'll just put the
Just
old
do
ones in, and you know, just use
Yeah.
them and have a
Yeah.
dodgy ear, I don't mind, or I just won't use anything. My mum's internet's not working, so I'm operating off my phone's internet, hoping, fingers crossed, it'll be enough. So I guess, but I'm in the joy of being with you,
Yeah.
of sharing the bigger message. And I think one of the bigger messages is what we're saying is that, you know, get beyond the fear so that the message
Yeah.
can be
100%.
heard loud and clear. You don't even know. Can I just say, not you personally, I mean to people out there, you don't even know how big and how loud your message is until you actually plug into it and do it. Like,
Yep.
you know, some people think I need to be clear on my message, and I need to. That's bullshit. Your message will get clearer when you step forward into your message. It will
Yep.
form itself because the power of spirit behind your message comes through. Would you agree with that, Annalise?
I would completely agree with
The
that.
more you step.
So when I first started, I stood in front of my first crowd. I was an absolute wreck, shaking, just, hi, my name's Annalise, and had a really small message of my journey. This was before my big epiphany, and I'm teaching people often that fake it till you make it. I'm going to tell you that there is a light inside of you that wants to express joy and happiness, and if you don't believe me, fake it. Just do it and see what happens from that, with the power of receptivity, or the power of what's it called when you send something out and it comes back. If you don't believe it, just,
Intention.
or there's this other one, attraction.
Oh yeah.
If you,
Law of
everything that
attraction.
we do, just do it. Just try it. You've got nothing to lose. Just shine your light as far and wide as you can. Smile at people and watch as love rebounds back to you. I'm teaching healers at the moment, and it's got so much to do with just allowing it and just doing it. And even with me as a healer on my healer's journey, it's just fake it. But you're not faking it.
you
It's
know,
about taking that leap
every
of faith.
time, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting you just said leap of faith, because every time you said fake it till you make it, I heard faith it till you make it.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
just
That's probably better. Yeah, faith it.
because faith it, because it's like you're being
Yeah.
authentic in your level of I don't know, which is fine. I don't profess to know everything, and I never have. In fact, when I was getting the Lightworker practitioner training channeled through to me in 2005, I was told by Spirit, advertise in the paper, get everybody in the room, and then we'll tell you what we want to tell everybody. And it was the complete opposite to me trying to be in control. It was like the other way around. And I believe the hero's journey is about being. Whoa, I've got. Hang on, I'll try to get you back in, honey. What happened there? There you are. I think a lot of the hero's journey is actually walking in faith for a time and turning up and not knowing what's going to happen and just doing it anyway. And that kind of helps. I think that builds our connection with Spirit, actually, being in that level of faith. I'm just going to check to see if I can get you back in, because it said it was adding you and then it didn't add you, and then you popped up to be added again. Oh, there you are, darling. No, that's fine. I'm not sure if you just heard what I said, because I know you were kind of trying to come in, but I was just saying, I think a lot of the hero's journey is about walking in faith for a time, and it builds that connection. It actually does build that connection. So if, say, for instance, we have trust issues, then the thing that we need to do is turn up and trust that those words will come through at the right, and they will be the right words, or turn up and write, and the right words will come through, or turn up and paint, turn up and draw, turn up and make movies, turn up and take photos, whatever it is that helps us to connect with Spirit in a creative fashion, in an expressive fashion, in a way that we feel like we're receiving Spirit. Turn up and just do it. And then build that connection. Don't worry about the result. Don't worry about, like you said, don't worry about the destination. Just walk the path, walk the journey, practice the faith. It's like a muscle, isn't it? It's like a muscle.
Yeah. If you were to think, like, knowing that the most important, that you are God, experiencing yourself through yourself, so the whole universe is God and you're an aspect of that, then you can ask yourself, what is it that I want to create? I'm a divine creator. What is it that I want to create? And then I take people through a process of, if you were to receive that creation, what would that provide for you? So if someone wanted, I don't know, a new job, what would that provide for you? And then taking that a step further, and you'll eventually find that what you're truly wanting to create is that expression of light and joy and love. And we're searching for that outside ourselves with all the little things that we do create. And what I try to teach in my group is that you are whole and complete just as you are. And now you're free to create whatever it is that you wish, and have faith that it's all perfect. For me, the hero's journey is the whole picture. It's a lot of people just focus on the light, or like some people just like to focus on the dark. For me, it's about integrating the whole. Yeah, the whole everything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel that everything is important. Everything is necessary.
Yeah.
Everything serves our awakening.
Or even in the collective, when you look at all the bad things that are happening on our planet right now, actually that's an interesting point. So if you were to look at the fractals, and that we can go back to that fractal idea, how we are smaller fractals of the whole, you can see the whole story of our human race's consciousness written in the stars. You could trace the stars back and actually see how our consciousness was always going to fall and was always going to come back up and rise again, and we're pretty much just playing out that story that's written in the stars. There's nothing that we could have done to have avoided that. We come through to experience that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, when I was studying Steiner education back in my 1990s or so, the 1900s, the 1990s, wasn't that bad?
It's all right. I was born then. That's okay.
Another incarnation. We learned about the evolution of consciousness, and we learned about these different epochs, and how, like in ancient Indian times, it's like you start here and you're at the top of the bathtub, and then and at the top of the bathtub it's like spirituality, but really not conscious of spirituality, but there's instant like manifestation of the physical, because there's non-consciousness of the spiritual, because it just happens. So it's really the descent of going through ancient India, and then we've got the Greek, then you've got the ancient Egyptian times.
So you could watch the cycles of consciousness. Is that what you're saying?
You can see it. You can see it. It's like a bathtub. It's like a bathtub. So you get Indian, then you got Persians, and they were the first farmers, and it became more physical. Then you got the ancient Egyptians, and it was so physical that they like buried their dead with gifts. You know, it was so physical that they created temples to put they believed that the actual physical body that's here would be able to live in the afterlife the way it is. You know, that's why they mummified them. So fascinating stuff. Their consciousness became more physical in their connection to spirit. So you could say that you've got spirit up here and you've got matter here. And then the bottom of the bathtub was the Greco-Roman time, when Christ,
totally
or the Christ impulse down here. Everybody had their descent into the biggest descent into matter, but that's when the light, the hero's journey, the light came through, and now we're on the.
Here we are.
Yep, that's right. And now we're on the.
And I tell everyone in my group,
all the way up, we're becoming conscious.
I tell everyone in my group that we've got golden tickets, because we've come in right at that peak moment where we're just going to take off into who knows what, and we're, you know, all of the badness is left behind us. We're just kind of sweeping the way now. We've got golden tickets into the golden age. I try to get people really excited about that. They're a bit hard to get excited. But.
Because I know it's a bit hard when you've got your feet in the mud to get excited.
My husband calls it the sludge.
It is tough.
I've got a lot of people who, like, for me, I find it really easy because I feel like this is my first lifetime here, that I'm a starseed from Andromeda. And people have had lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of heartache. And I've kind of come here like, come on, guys, it's time for the golden age. Let's get going. Leave all that sadness behind. Come on. So it's quite hard for some people to make.
But you mentioned something really interesting there, Annalise, because I know for me, when I was studying my holistic counselling diploma, my advanced diploma in holistic counselling, and we did like a lot of past life stuff, and I had so many, I had so many past lives that I was killed, and that's how my life was ended in death, of being killed by someone. So it was very traumatic for me working through my lifetimes, actually. I think one of my biggest, that's probably why I had I won't say have, because I don't have anymore. That's why I had such big trust issues with spirit. How the hell can I trust a spirit or God or whatever you want to call it if I'm being snuffed out every lifetime? Like, what the hell, you know? So for me, it was really walking the path of understanding. I had things I had to learn from being snuffed out at that moment in time to, to build my faith in this lifetime. But what you mentioned there was really interesting, Annalise, because there are people, when we talk about past lives, who don't resonate with that. And I wonder whether or not they're...
I have it all the time.
I wonder whether or not that is...
For me,
isn't that great?
It's so good.
What a great learning.
But so what happened with me, with my life, is that for the first 10, 20 years, it was absolute turmoil. It was so hard. I went through every abuse you could possibly think of. But that's because everyone else had like 20 lifetimes worth. I had to get it all done.
Oh, no.
Oh,
actually, that's a good one to remember, for like people to remember when they see people's life stories that are really, really, really hard. That could be it. Is it okay? I got to condense a lot into a short period of time here.
It was totally like, it was like a big roller coaster train wreck ride. But now that I've cleared all that, I don't have lots of lifetimes to try and clear. It's like I'm free now. I'm sovereign. Nothing can kind of touch me anymore. Really hard for 15 years. Now.
It sounds it. I can feel it. Like, woo.
But I'm working with lots of people.
I like that, though.
I'm working with lots of people that have got so much past life stuff that I just can't even resonate with. I'm like, and it's interesting too how past life things can happen in the body and create dysfunction in your body from past lives. I find that really fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we call them imprints,
Yeah.
like yin or yang imprints. Like if, like great example for people, just so that if you don't understand what I mean by that, just in case, I'll give you an example. So like a yin imprint might be some, like when we go through trauma or anything. Hi, Bunty, I'm just on the live stream. When we go through trauma or anything like that, we usually hold our breath like this, and it usually gets stored somewhere in the body. The actual cellular memory of what we're going through, actually the whole package in its whole form, gets stored in the body. So the minute, that's why body work's so cool, because you can actually go into the part of the body and unlock it and go, oh, what happened there, and what was the story. And a yin imprint is where it's like a emptiness, like an abandonment. If we were deserted or abandoned, or we felt like a deep darkness of depression, where we were in a lot of grief and there wasn't anyone around and we just felt like alone. And so a yin imprint, they're very cold. They're actually very cold in the body, and so often feel very empty. And when people go in them, they actually don't, sometimes I don't see a lot. It's been an interesting phenomena for me on taking people through that. They'll just go, it's really dark. It's just dark. Is it okay? You kind of know, like, it's dark. Okay, it's dark. It's empty. Is it cold? Yes. Okay. We kind of got the picture here that what's going on. And then you've got your yang imprints, and your yang imprints are the hot, abusive, you know, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, actual physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, psychic attack, all that kind of stuff. And so they're hot and feel disgusting. Usually they just, especially if there was some sexual abuse, because it's almost like that person's energy is caught in the imprint as well, the abuser's energy. So it's not even your energy, and they can often feel very overwhelming, and disgusting, and people don't want to go there, and rightly so, because it's actually quite toxic. But if they knew how easy it was to clear it, then they would want to go there, because they just go, I want to get that out of me, because that's going to create disease. It's going to create, you know, stagnation.
So what really helped me understand that is that the light of consciousness, wherever light is, darkness just can't be. The light of your consciousness, the light of God, will, and when you think of a light shining into the darkness, it instantly dissipates. So we've got nothing to fear, really.
And that's how we work with them. Usually, that's exactly right. We'll usually call on, you know, what is it at that moment that you didn't receive that you needed? Like for those yin imprints, what was it that you really, really needed in that moment? And we actually invoke it. We invoke that vibration. We do. We fill it up. Like, it's not empty anymore. And then for the yang ones, we clear it. So if someone's toxic energy is in there, or any residual stuff you've got, we express that out, whether that is through drawing or voice work or whatever it is. We just get it out. And then usually, but what we usually find, and this is interesting going back to the law of attraction stuff, so you know, usually find that under the yang imprint is usually a yin imprint, a need. And because there's a need, there's an imbalance. And so therefore the person's actually attracted the yang, the abusive behavior, to fill the need, and it's inappropriate. And that's why when we clear these kind of things, it usually stops the cycle of abuse, because we're empowered. We're not actually attracting that abuser anymore. And that's the holistic nature of this work, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like, it's like you can't blame the abuser for when you had the yin imprint in the first place that you need
to fill that seeking, with.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. That's really fascinating.
There.
Awesome.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, tell me more about Awaken and Transform.
All right.
I'm excited to learn more about that.
So I've moved here from New Zealand. I've been here about 1.5 years, and I've been running weekly groups for women and a few men. There's a few men there that come along.
Great.
And it's just
fabulous.
I want to empower people to transform their lives. I want to empower people to know that they're beautiful, that they're worthwhile, that they can conquer their dreams, that they don't need to live in fear, that they can be spiritually in alignment with Source, that they can find their true purpose, and find their sovereignty as well, that they don't need to look outside themselves for anything. That everything that they could possibly desire is within them, and then from there, what do I want to create? I do all sorts in my groups. I'm a sound therapist, where I play music and I mix together about 10 different tracks of music together to make this adventure of sound that I take people through while I play these crystal bowls. I've started on my healer's journey. Yeah, it's really cool. There's just all these different facets to what I'm kind of doing. I've got my music, I've got the groups, and then I'm also doing one-on-one healings where I'm learning so much more. And I'm writing a book too, just heaps and heaps. And I've just started doing essential oils. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and it all kind of it all comes together, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
it does.
the hero's journey, is that the book you're writing now?
Yep, that is the hero's journey. It's just about wanting people to understand the ascension process that we're on right now and why so many people are finding it so difficult, and to find compassion for others, and with that, like, if you can truly get the gift of that teaching, you'll understand that you are God. You'll understand the whole universe through that simple teaching. And it's like, and you can look back at all of these ancient teachings of occult wisdom, and the way that they've given it to me is like the dummy version, like really simple, that makes lots of sense, but then at the same time it doesn't make sense because it's not a linear concept at all. It's like everything is happening right now. There's no past, present, or future. It's just in this moment. Where are you? Where is your consciousness, and where do you want to be? Because a lot of people, they don't want to wake up yet, and that's actually okay. Eventually it will happen. Yeah.
I think as part of our journey to awakening, we need those people not to be awake at certain points to help us to awake. So that's another non-judgmental aspect. I think I look at other people's roles that they play in the ascension process, in our ascension process, that there's been activators and triggers and protagonists and instigators of whatever it is, abuse or whatever it is, to assist and facilitate us a process that we can then awaken into. So then it takes the judgment out of, oh, that person, they did this, and they murdered 8 people, they're a bad person. And it's actually, well, how do we know? God, we don't even know what we contracted. That person might be a freaking saint in one lifetime, but they've had to take this role on this lifetime because they're the only person that they could do it, because they understood the bigger picture.
I did a whole class teaching people about that, and when, so Spirit showed me in Asian culture, if you were to break a bowl, they would not throw it away, they would fix it with gold. So then this bowl actually become more beautiful than before. And what they showed me is that when a soul or a spirit gets hurt, we break, but that actually makes us more beautiful. And I often use the quote that if you haven't never been skydiving, you could completely understand the concept of what skydiving was, but you'd never truly understand it. You'd actually have to experience jumping out of that plane and free falling to truly say, I know what that is. So here on Earth, we can say, I know what that feels like. Not have the conceptual idea of, oh, I see that and I see what you're going through, but to have a real knowing of both darkness and you can't know light unless you know darkness. I meet people who have had an incredibly beautiful life, being privileged in every way with very few hurts, who don't appreciate what they have. They don't truly enjoy the light that they are. And I see people who have been through absolute turmoil, and now just the little things, like just having dinner with friends, the joy that is in their heart and the appreciation that they find through that. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, that's okay.
It's important.
I'm feeling it though, because I recently sat down with this guy who's a sand artist, and he was sharing with me. I saw his sand, like mandalas on the sand as I was walking along. I thought, gee, wow, these are awesome, and they just wash away, like in an hour or two when the tide comes. I was thinking, oh my God. Anyway, I finally got round to talking to him, and when I was talking to him, he mentioned to me that I had no idea, but he had gone through this whole thing about a few years back where he had actually been king hit, and he was playing football or something and being king hit, and he was a graphic artist, and he had brain damage that took a while to heal. And when he got home from the hospital, he tried to turn his computer on and he couldn't even remember what to do. He was a graphic artist, so his livelihood was like that. And then he said it was just like after that, like that he just never, ever, ever wanted to take anything for granted ever again. Now he's back being a graphic artist and all that jazz. But now it's like he's doing other things just in the moment. Yeah. So it's amazing what you can learn from talking to people.
Yeah.
I actually had him on my show, High Vibe Hunter. And he does murals and he's incredible. And his name's Stephen Bodnaro and he's lovely. Just couldn't believe that he had that experience. All I want to do is check out his sand art. Like, and then you can talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nearly died. Yeah, I had brain damage. Oh, my God. You just go, okay. Well, I was picking up on something, wasn't I? Because there was, like, something big going on with what he was doing.
Yep.
Way bigger than just a sand mural. And I could feel it energetically. Like, you know what you're saying about putting creativity and expressing into things? I think that the intention behind the creative and like whatever we're creating, people feel it.
Yeah.
They feel it.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's not just the actual finished product. Actually, I think they feel
your creation,
the energy behind it.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. Even with my music, I find that if I put a lot of attention and effort and love into my music, people will be much more settled through the whole experience than if I just rush it. Because there's some days I've got my children and I'm just rushing. And you can actually see the difference in a whole group of people and their consciousness and reflection to the music that I've made. Could be using the exact same people.
Have you got any music you can play for us?
Oh, I'm not sure how to do that.
Bowls there that you can play for
they're
us?
outside. My internet won't reach out to my studio. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Well,
actually,
no, that's okay. Well,
hold on. Let's just double check.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll try.
If you break up, I'll let you
know.
All
right.
I'll let you know.
I'll take you out to my studio just to show you what. It's in my garage, by the way.
Cool.
It's a converted garage.
Yep. Okay.
We're in Port Kembla.
Keep the door open. I don't know if that helps.
Where there's the ocean there. And we often do art right out on the cliff, because we do art once a month, right on the ocean there. It's really nice.
Or you're breaking up. Might lose you. Well, hopefully. No, I got you. Still got you.
Have I broken up?
Oh, I think we might have. Oh, no. No, you're back. You're back. Hello? Can you hear me? I can hear you. I think I can hear you. It's frozen, I think. I'm not sure. Is that upside down?
Trying to reconnect.
It's a bit hard to see what that is. I haven't got my glasses on. You know?
Right. No, I don't think it's going to work. Sorry. Unless I go like this.
Yep, I got you back, but I think it might be just a little bit too far. Maybe.
All right.
Oh, well,
there what?
We'll have to.
Can you see me now?
I can see you now.
Oh, right, here we go. I put it on my phone and the internet. So this is our studio that we've got.
Oh, that's a good idea. Good idea.
It's a little bit messy. But we've got the bowls and crystals. And yeah, so this is where we are once a week on a Friday.
Fabulous.
And I'm sure you've done crystal bowls before. So we've got all the bowls here. These resonate.
Oh, look, I love crystal bowls.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
So what I'd do is I'd create a whole adventure of
You're
music.
upside down.
Oh, right. Am I still upside down? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. You're right now.
So what I'd do is I'd make it.
We had some flying crystal bowls. That's all right.
I would make a whole adventure of sound. I don't know, using drums and nature and birds and water and all sorts, and play my bowls.
Nice. It's beautiful.
But I think something that I've learned that's amazing is that it doesn't matter what you're doing to heal yourself as long as you're doing something that's right for you. Whether it be that you eat well, you're working with crystals, anything to lift your vibration into those feelings of joy.
Yeah.
People come to this group and it's not for them, and that's perfectly fine as long as you find what's right for you.
It totally is, and there's no harm. Just explore, people. Please, say to yourself, you know what, I don't know what it is, and if singing bowls irritate the shit out of me, I've got to do something else. That's fine. If Michelle Lightworker's voice is like, nails down, great, good. There's other people that are saying what I'm saying, and they're saying it in the way you need to hear it. It's beautiful. Just don't allow yourself to get put off by things that don't resonate, even if they're interesting or they interested you in the beginning, just keep looking.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, because you'll find what you need, and you have to be open in order to find it. That's the thing. You do have to be open, because spirit was not going to interfere with free will.
Oh no, 100%. Another I've had all these epiphanies just recently. Another one that's really helped me is I've started working with the soul ray colors. I'm not sure if you know much about those, but what they've taught me is that each person comes down on a different soul ray, or they've got a soul ray color, and that there is their pathway back to God, back to the divine truth. So I've got people that...
So then... That's great.
Well, it just means that there's all these different paths. So I've got people that come through, maybe they're on a pink ray, which means that it's all about faith. And that allowed me to understand religion and to see all those people in church. And that's not for me, I'm not on that ray of faith, and that's fine. But for them, it's actually okay. I can allow them to have that path back to the God that they are. For me, I believe that my soul ray is the blue ray of wisdom. So I needed to have all of this higher understanding to find my way back to my truth. For other people, like my children, I've got one of my son who come through on the orange ray, and it's all about joy. It's like, if he can make you smile, he's found God. And then I've got my other son who's on that ray of the green ray, which is all about connection and about balance. So if he can find that connection, whether it be through nature or through people, he's found his way back to that divine truth. I think it's important to know on that enlightening path that you don't need to be doing yoga. You don't need to be doing bowls. You just need to find your own way back to the love that you are, and to be able to express that freely, and you'll find your ascension process.
Yes, it's so good to be able to hear you say that. Just honor your thing, honor it, honor your thing. Have you got insight? Have you got some insight into other people's rays through
I do.
Your own psychic ability?
So when people come to see me,
have you got insight on mine?
I haven't done it over the phone, but I could try. Usually when people come to see me for a one-on-one healing, it comes through. Yeah, I'm getting that orange ray for you as well. So everyone on earth has 5 rays that govern them. You've got your soul ray, your personality ray, it's really complex. But for me, I've just started asking for people's soul ray color, because that's their pathway back to spirit. For me, I'm getting the orange and purple. So my husband's purple, which is ceremonial magic. So he finds his way back through magic, through those experiences of just seeing synchronicity. And so for you, I see that orange and purple. Have you explored that yourself?
I haven't, but I totally resonate with what you're saying, because for me the orange,
it's creativity as well.
I actually say to people too, I say, if it's not fun,
there you go. It's funny.
So it's like, I mean, I've come from super serious, freaking, anorexic, almost dying from my perfectionism, to going, actually, if you can't just enjoy this whole process of being human, what's the point? Don't put your, but then again, hearing what you're saying, is that, there's a lot of point there. Okay, I get it, because someone else might have a different ray. So then it puts me in the humility box on my own orange ray, which I think is a really good thing.
It does. And I like to see it like a rainbow, and we're all descending and we're all equal. So no one's better than anyone else. We're just all on a different color string coming through. And you can actually start to work with those rays in your world, whatever it is that you need. I call upon that ray. And then each of those rays are connected to different angelic beings. And it's something that I've started to play with, the idea is that we've actually just named these rays as these angelic beings, that it's our own way of allowing their vibration and their gift to, so for the blue ray would be the will of God, and we've come to name that Archangel Michael. But perhaps it's just that you know what I mean? That's us creating that personality.
It makes a lot of sense to me, because Archangel Michael's my right-hand man, and so for me that in order to express my joy, the the throat chakra and the expression is really important for me.
Yeah.
I would have to say that a lot of my life I was really blocked from speaking, and it's only in my later years that I've been able to.
Oh, you're doing well now.
My ability to speak. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like there's any wall between myself and other people now. So my heart chakra is helping my throat chakra to feel a connection. I think that's probably why I'm a good producer now, because I can help people transcend the camera and not think about the camera. Just think about the connection.
Yeah.
Just think about the people. Just think about the message. Don't worry about the camera.
Yeah.
It's not even there. You know, it's just not even there. You're talking to people. You're talking to everybody. You're talking to your brothers and your sisters and your family. You're talking to people that have contracted with you to be heard, to be activated. You're talking with, you know, just get beyond that. Get beyond I can do that now, but only because I've walked the path of what I've walked, for sure. So where can people find you? Let's make
where
sure
can people find me
before we run out of time.
Right, so I've got a Facebook page. That's pretty much my main. I don't like to do too much. It's called Awaken and Transform on Facebook, and I just put heaps of stuff up on there. And if you're in the area, I'd love for you to come along and join our little group sessions, or even if you wanted to come and explore healing. Yeah, I'm around and I'm happy to meet anyone pretty much.
Beautiful. Well, it's really awesome sharing space with you, sharing our divine connection with Spirit together. Thank you for joining me in Enlightened Conversations, and I'm looking forward to speaking further with you and finding out what you're up to, sweetheart.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Awesome.
Okay. Bye.